starring today. Hope you guys are
broke.
Yeah.
Wow, jamming, baby.
Yeah, that's what I'm into. All right, I saw the story today. You know, this. I thought this is kind of sad that we have to be in this situation. You know about the Chicago Bears, right? You know about this Jay Cutler?
I remember the Bears.
Chicago Bear quarterback.
Sure.
Seems like a nice enough guy. Although it does appear that I believe he has the facial structure of a man who just doesn't give a crap. Yes. It's just what it is. His facial structure. There's nothing he can do about it.
Really?
I like when people. I think it was Terry Bradshaw who said on the Fox pregame show one time this season when he was talking about, saying, "I don't know what's going on with this guy. I don't know how he doesn't seem like he's interested in anything. I don't know what." He's got blood sugar problems. I don't know what the sugar has to do with that. And all of a sudden, diabetes becomes the reason that he's not in a good mood. I don't know. I don't think that's the case. I don't think so. I know a lot of chipper diabetics. Yeah, I know. But anyway, now, Jay Cutler is saying that he does not like the label of coach killer.
Well, who would? Quite frankly.
A guy who, when he plays for you, he ends the career of the coach because there's such high expectations for the team, and it just doesn't really work out that way. Sean Jensen, we know him, we love him from the Chicago Sun-Times as the Bears writer there. Sean, first of all, where does this all come from? Who's calling him a coach killer other than everybody?
Well, essentially, the CBS broadcast team was piling on. Shannon Sharp was really the one who kind of led the charge on that. And there is something to be said that Jay Cutler, since he's gotten in the NFL, Mike Shanahan was fired, and now Lovie Smith's been fired, and he was shipped out of Denver when the new coach came. And so there's this, and plus he's been through like 6 different NFL offensive coordinators in the time that he's been around. So it's been something that you can't completely dismiss, but I think it's too simplistic to say that he's a coach killer. I mean, Jay Cutler isn't ultimately the reason why Lovie Smith got fired. I mean, could Jay have played better? Absolutely, but the failings of the Bears are really ultimately on the head coach. I mean, you can't just blame injuries. A lot of it has to do with personnel. He's a lightning rod figure, though. That's just what Jay Cutler is. I actually saw a headline yesterday where on an ESPN show they posed this question: is Jay Cutler responsible for RG3's injury? Which is ludicrous. And the thinking behind that was because Jay Cutler was just completely torn apart in the 2010 playoffs when in the NFC title game he did not finish the second half against the Packers. A lot of players immediately jumped on Twitter and ripped Cutler for not having the courage to finish the game. Guys like Maurice Jones-Drew, former players like Deion Sanders, and even before they even knew what the injury was, they were just ripping him for being too cowardly to finish the game and quitting on his team. And RG3 the other day, in a game where he clearly wasn't himself, tried to play through an injury, and lo and behold, he ended up having a torn ACL and a torn LCL, and he could be out up until training camp or worse for a chunk of the season.
Yeah.
Sean, that's the most inane, idiotic poll question in the history of poll questions. Are they going to today say, is Jay Cutler responsible for Ben Affleck not getting nominated for Best Director for Argo?
Gentlemen, hold on. Gentlemen, hold on 1 second, because I believe I saw on Fox News Channel 1 hour ago, is Barack Obama responsible for RG3's injury.
Oh, okay.
I think I saw that
there
too.
You go.
So
the president and Jay Cutler right now are very popular people to blame right now for anything that ails this country or anything that ails you. It's Jay Cutler and President Obama's
That's
fault.
true. All right, let me ask you this though: is Jay Cutler going to? Are they going to decide to put coaches and assistants, specifically an offensive coordinator, around Jay that he likes? Is he going to have approval? Is he going to talk about their choice with them?
That's a great question. He does not want to have that, per se. I think he wants to try to just let the powers that be, basically Phil Emery, the GM, make those decisions. But it's a tricky situation from Phil Emery's perspective, because here you've got this talented quarterback, a guy who looks the part of a franchise quarterback, and you've got to figure out, how am I going to get the best out of him? And part of getting the best out of him is making sure that you've got the right coaches that can push him, that can teach him and that can sort of keep him motivated. And that's the question is, can you find that right coach? He loves Jeremy Bates. Yesterday he gushed about Jeremy Bates once again. Bates was the quarterback's coach. He didn't call the plays. He made it sound like Jeremy Bates was the next coming of the great, offensive coordinator to call plays. And so that's what you have to figure out if you're Phil Emery, is if I bring somebody in, how much does that person need to get along with Jay Cutler in order for this to work long term? Because I think Emery's perspective is it would be a shame to bring in somebody and just essentially waste Jay Cutler and have to ship him out just like the Denver Broncos did.
Well, and Sean, Jay Cutler is he's a smart guy, and he realizes going into the last year of his contract, he's probably got one more big contract to sign. And for him, this is a huge year coming up, right? I mean, if he doesn't deliver this year, maybe the Bears part ways with him.
You're absolutely right. He is entering it. He sounded very humbled in the last few times that, when I talked to him right after the season ended, he was very humbled. He just didn't sound like a guy that had the confidence that he usually does. And I think he recognizes that regardless of the excuses, regardless of injuries and all these other extenuating, the offensive line, Jay Cutler understands that 2013 is make or break for him. And as he looks to the future, as you said, this is a big contract coming up. He's either going to get paid as a middle average, as an average NFL quarterback, which is still good money, mind you, or if he has a really good 2013, then he could potentially get paid as an elite quarterback, and you're talking about $20 million. And the range between being elite and being average, I would say it's about $13 million. That's how big a difference it is.
Well, that puts it in that's a great perspective, Sean, because that's a big deal and over a 4-year or 5-year deal, right? 4 years.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. In all likelihood, he would probably sign at least a 5-year contract. And right now, I think the minimum of what he's looking at is a contract similar. At least him and his agent would push for it. If they were negotiating right now, they would try to get Matt Schaub's contract, and that would be the bare bottom of what he would accept. Matt Schaub has been a very solid quarterback for the Houston Texans, but like Cutler, he hasn't won the big game. And so the contract that Schaub got last year was included $30 million in guarantees, and I believe it averages about $14.5 million a year.
And that's the thing in the NFL. The contracts are not guaranteed. They are not.
Absolutely. You got to get that guaranteed money, Roper.
I'm always trying, Sean. Trust me, baby.
All right, Sean, thanks very much. Sean Jensen from the Chicago Sun-Times. Appreciate your time, sir.
Absolutely. Have fun tonight.
All right, yes. Thank you. Well.
But is that the only
always
one
do.
Was I the only one who heard my name when he said that? Because I always hear when I hear guaranteed money, I always hear my name next. But he did say that. Okay.
No, I got it. I understand what he
Sean
said.
might know something I don't know. I am in an option year. So.
All right. Jim Johnson has the news. What am I doing with Jim? I'm looking at Jim and then talking to him. Let's talk to Christina first about the traffic and the weather, who is guaranteed to do something.